morning, I think. It's still morning time. It is. It feels I have been up since about 5:15 this morning because I had a 6 a.m. ass kicking yoga class. I didn't want to go to the evening class, and that was the only time in the day that I had an option for was either 6 a.m. or like 7:45 tonight to do yoga. So I've been up since like 5:15, and so guess what? Whatever time it is right now, wherever you are at, wherever time it is for where I am at, it feels like it should be afternoon, but I'm pretty sure it's still morning. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, hi Addison. Um, that was weird. My Google just decided that it was going to do something. Um, there we go. Yeah, Addison was in class with me. It was an ass kicking class. It really was. It was like I felt all this massive heat coming up in my body. It was just like this whole energetic activation and everything. And this concept, I was questioning myself today. I was like, whose brilliant idea was it to go to yoga class every single day? And to go from, like falling off your practice to like, okay, we're going to hit this every single day. And it's hot yoga, so it's like you're in a sauna all day for that whole period of time, that whole hour, and you're working your muscles and stretching and everything. And I was just like, whew. And today I was really, really feeling it. Yesterday I had an amazing class. Today it was just like, whoo, it was tough. It was tough. I think a lot of it had to do with the 6 a.m. portion, though. Like, I think I'm better at that 8:30, 10 o'clock mark for yoga. But today's topic is really on, don't assume that anybody else's life is like this. Well, what am I talking about when I say this? What is the this? The this is don't assume that anybody else's life is like your life. They are living, doing, that their schedule is the same as yours, that their, energy levels are the same as yours, that their goals are the same as yours. And you might go, well, why the hell are you saying that? Of course, nobody else's life is like mine. And I don't make assumptions as to what other people's lives are. Many, many years ago, and I'm talking many years because if we roll back the clock, my daughter, who is now 23 years old, my eldest, with a baby of her own, but when she was probably 3-4 years old, and I remember that we were living up in Redmond, Washington, Microsoft territory, and we had this house there, and I had joined this mom's group and all this different stuff, and I had 2 children with another one on the way at that point. And I remember the moms in the group who had just one kid, and they were like, oh, well, do you mind watching my child for me? I mean, what's one more kid, right? It's just one more kid. You already have 2. What are you going to be doing? You're at home, you're pregnant, you're momming it up. You've got, a 4-year-old, and you've got a 3-year-old and one on the way. Like, here's my kid too. Can you just watch my kid while I run these errands? Can you just watch it'll be a play date. They'll entertain each other. Like, it's going to be so easy, right? Like, you can do that, right? You can do that, right? Now, I had to get really good about my boundaries, which I didn't do back then. My boundaries absolutely sucked, and I always said yes, and then I was completely overwhelmed and stressed out because my schedule was just too massive for me to handle, and I didn't have the energy with 2 preschoolers and a baby on the way to maintain at that level. So I ended up just really just draining myself, all for the sake of not wanting to potentially cause conflict in new friendships. Even then, though, I became bitter. I became bitter around this idea of that these women that were mothers as well made the assumption that my life, because I had 2 children, because I was a stay-at-home parent, because, and they were, well, we're stay-at-home moms too, it should be easier. They assumed that my schedule, that my lifestyle, that everything that I was doing was similar to theirs and that it could handle. Yet they were the ones passing the baby off to make sure that they could get their stuff accomplished, where they were like, you don't really need to get anything accomplished, right? You don't need to do that. Through recent years, over the last decade and a half of really focusing in being a hardcore coach and working with 50, 60, clients at over a time frame, that over a course of a year, teaching workshops, travel, having my children grow, now being the mom of 7 with 4 grandbabies and everything, and having the busy life that I have, I find consistently people doing this same thing, at least attempting to do the same thing. It is I have no idea what is going on. Google Voice keeps activating. I think my phone wants me to get rid of it. That's what's going on there. People, I find, keep assuming scheduling, and it's just like Addison can test on this one, that she sees my schedule and she sees my busy and my crazy and all that goes into any given day of my life. And even where there is a blank spot, that there really isn't a blank spot. Because guess what? Today is supposed to be a blank day outside of my 6 a.m. yoga class, from school, dentist, I'm picking my kid up, and then having a family dinner with my older daughter coming over, who is cooking dinner for me. I just absolutely love that. Like, cooking dinner for me. So, I really shouldn't have any stresses in today. There shouldn't. But just in the last couple hours, since I've been home from yoga class, it has just been boom, boom, boom. And this is the first moment with a child banging at my door. This is the first moment that I've had to even do this live stream, because life goes like this. And here's the thing that I have learned, for those of us who are the hustlers in life, who are busy as fuck, building businesses, taking on our, building, really moving through things. I have to go deal with him. Hold on, Ro. So we are really, really hustling, and we're going, our schedules get busy. And you know what? Some of us do this with school activities. We have our children in so many different activities. We have, church things that we're doing. We have couples things that we're doing. We have all this different stuff that we are really working on, and that we are just trying to have our 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever that time frame job is, plus commute time. And then we have houses, and we have to do all this different stuff, right? We have to do all that. And then what? Then we've got our children, our significant others. Maybe we don't have a significant other. Maybe we need room for dating. Maybe we need room for some self-care in there. Maybe we have a yoga practice or some gym practice or something, and we have all this stuff that we need to be doing, is what we feel. And then what? Somebody comes, well, can't you just do this right here? Like, that shouldn't be that big of a deal. Let's just do this right here. Right in the middle of that. What? You can't do that today? How about tomorrow? Oh, I'm going to just last minute this. I'm going to last minute that. How about we do this? How about we do that? What? You're booked out? You're booked schedule? You have this, you have that. And I know that I'm speaking to a lot of people out there, because all my clients are busy as crap. Like, they are so busy, and I love to dedicate so much time and focus to their practices, to their self-growth and their healing, and to their connection work with themselves, with source, with their partners. I love that, because I understand and I get busy. I get the world of crazy life busyness. So here's the thing. For all you fine folks out there that don't have busy, that aren't hustling, that aren't moving, that aren't growing, that might feel like you're moving, but you're not moving at the pace that maybe some of your friends, your family, the people that you are working with, that you strive to maybe be like, or that you're trying to from. And if you are looking and you believe that their life is anywhere near yours, even if it's your next door neighbor, if you see that they have busy, never, ever, ever assume a life like yours. Don't assume that you can do the drop. Don't assume that you can just express this and say, hey, how about this? This is the only time slot I have over here. I know that you have like 50,000 things that you're doing today and tomorrow and the next week and the next 2 weeks and what have you. But do not assume that that's just a space for you to come into, that you can just change things up for them. Don't assume that. All right, I'm taking a time out. I have to deal with the kid. Come in, please. you will not leave me alone. Come in. Come on. Come on. I'm on the live stream. You have to come over here, baby. Come get on there. Come get right here. Come on. All right. We have a 4-year-old with us. This is why it's called like busy mommyhood. Motherhood, especially, huh? Busy can be extremely busy. Sometimes one person's busy is not like another person's busy. I can tell you that. I am really bewildered by that. I would love to hear from anybody else. If this is a Facebook gig, or I keep getting this like advertisement popping up. Every so many minutes an advertisement pops up, and then I have to like close it, and then it says resume your live. Oh, it's like, what the heck? This is weird. Talk about tech challenges. One person's busy is not another person's busy. To assume that your busy is the same or equal to another person is disrespectful to that person that you are assuming it about. Much like with anything, when we make assumptions, we truly do make an ass out of ourselves. We truly, please do not push that button. Please don't. If you're gonna... Yeah, Elsa. Okay, you're gonna have to take that out of my room. We have a treasure chest. Here, I'll show you guys. Interruption time. See? With this treasure chest. And it's got all their very special toys in it. Because I've always raised my kids with the concept of you don't have to share everything. But if you don't want to share it, then put it in a special spot. And you don't get to play with it when other people are around as well. Like when your friends are over, if you don't want to share it with them, you put it in the special spot, in their treasure chest in this case. And you don't have to share it, but you don't get to sit there and go, this is mine, and you can't pull it out. So he's digging for special toys in here. So yeah, back to busy. When we make those assumptions and we really do truly turn ourselves into an ass in those moments, because what we're doing is we're assuming that we know another person's life, we know their energy, we know all this stuff about them. We're looking at it from a perspective that is based on our perspective of our life, that is coming from us, from who we are, and from the life that we live. Hey, friends are here. Go. Your friends are here. Oh my goodness. So and what that does is it really truly is disrespectful to other people, because we don't get it. We will never ever be able to walk in another person's shoes ever. And I encourage you today to look at where you potentially could be making assumptions about other people, about their lives, about their schedules, about their feelings, about their energy level, about what their responsibilities might be, about what their goals, their dreams might be. Out there someplace. I think it's in the gecko room. Yes, we have a gecko room. If we truly think that we are doing that someplace, then what I want you to do is I want you to look and say, okay, if I'm doing this here, wherever that might be, I want you to pause in that, and I want you to really think about how would that make me feel if somebody assumed that of my life, of my feelings, of my beliefs, of my time. And then notice the next time you come up to this person, up to this situation, notice how you actually interact with that other person. Are you crossing over a silent boundary? Because there are these silent boundaries, and it's where somebody expresses what their needs are, what they really truly feel about something. Wow, that was a whole video that time. Is where a person expresses it, maybe with a look, maybe with a tone, maybe with certain words, but they don't directly come out and say, I can't do that. This isn't okay with me. I'm not right with that. And because they don't express that clearly, do you, and here's where your challenge of the day is, in these moments, do you just go, they didn't say no, so I'm going to just run with it. You know, they didn't say no to me, but you get a feeling. You get a feeling. You're like, I think that maybe they're not 100% on board with this. Because in that moment, what we're doing is we're actually crossing over another person's boundaries. We are causing bitterness. We're causing resentment. We're causing frustration, anxiety in this other person by us not being present enough, conscious enough to that relationship and to what that other person is actually saying. We're ignoring it. Why? Because it serves us to ignore it. So I'm asking you to just share. Thank you, Beth. I'm asking you to just be conscientious in those communications and notice where you might be pushing the boundary, where you might be crossing over somebody else's needs, boundaries, noticing their resistance, noticing that they're not 100% on board, and that you're just making an assumption there to serve your own benefit. Realize that that's not the compassionate thing to do. That's not the unconditional love thing to do. That's not the supportive thing to do. That's not something that we should be doing to each other when we care about another person, when we have any amount of care, and I'm going to just use the word care, towards somebody else, because we do this with our friends, we do this with our family, we do this with our lovers, we do this with our business partners. We do this in so many different ways. If somebody is not comfortable in speaking their truth and saying, no, I can't do that, like the version of me back in my 20s when everybody was bringing me their kids because, hey, I was a great babysitter, and what's one or two more kids, right? Like whatever. And I couldn't say no. I could not say no. So I just was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't have anything planned. And I'm rearranging my world to make it work and feeling all this tension and anxiety. Now, the flip side of it is that whoever this other person is needs to get their head on straight and needs to express their no. But you cannot do another person's work for them. Your work, any of our work, mine, yours, anybody else, our work as individuals is to become present in our lives, to become present in ourselves enough that we can be present with another person enough to pick up on these subtle little things, because we can never count on somebody else to actually have healthy boundaries. We cannot count on that. We cannot count on another person to speak their truth. We cannot count on them to even know what they need or want, but we can pick up on the subtle expressions, the tones, the choices of words, the body language, the shrugs, right? That kind of stuff. We can pick up on the sensation that is feeling that is being communicated, no matter what the words are speaking. We can pick up on that when we are present. And if we care about that other person, and even if we don't, just to be human for our fellow human beings out there, we should have the compassion to be that present and to try to read into those. Yes, and when in doubt, inquire. When in doubt, inquire. It is so important that if you doubt that moment, and that didn't feel like 100% yes. So they go, well, are you really okay with this? And if they go, yeah, I'm okay with it. Are you sure? Because I'm not feeling like you're really okay with that. And yeah, you might feel like you're selling them into a no, but better to sell them into a no in that situation and then have them be this fake yes and have resentment towards you. So look today, be conscious over the next day or two, actually. Be conscious of your communications, of your requests, of your assumptions of another person, because that is one thing that can really start to derail a relationship, any relationship. Okay, guys, I got a house full of people all of a sudden, hoping to get this done before everybody got here, but it didn't happen. Yeah, so if I've said anything in here that touched you, that made you think of somebody that might need to address their boundaries, address their assumptions, please share this message. Hit the share button down below. Your shares do matter. They do help me in so many different ways. It also helps the world to learn about themselves, about healing, about healthiness, mental, emotional, and how we can create that. Beck, you don't have to say you're sorry. Sorry. My daughter. I'm sorry. Before you got here. Love you. So, really, if I touched you in any way, please hit the share button despite all the crazy around her, which guess what? I think it's actually perfect. Have you ever noticed, if you follow me consistently, how like shit just starts to happen? It's like the energy of whatever I'm talking about is probably what's going to be going on in my background. And I was like, hey, I'm kind of irritated around people not respecting my crazy busy and assuming all these things. And then it just got crazier. Just got crazier. Really crazy. It's going to get crazier. Yeah. I love it though. I love it though. Wouldn't have it any other way. Very grateful for my crazy. As always, everybody, stop existing, start living. If you are interested in any private one-on-one coaching, please feel free to message me in the comment section or private message me. Local people, I have Quantum Field Tantra that is happening in the certification, a beautiful certification course on teaching you the tantric magic that some of you may have seen in some of my local workshops. There is a video on my website and on YouTube that can show you exactly what I'm talking about in Quantum Field. It really is magic. Just imagine being able to provide a person or orgasm without ever touching them. Yes, that shit really does happen. Happen to know just how to do that just a little bit. I'm teaching a certification course this coming Sunday on the 10th to teach people exactly how to do that, to expand into that kind of energetic flow and presence level. And yes, it has a lot to do with presence and playfulness and faith and just a little bit of understanding of the quantum world. I love you guys. I will catch you tomorrow with another Conscious Coffee.